Toads and Diamonds. There was once upon a time a widow who had 2 daughters. The elder resembled her so much in the face, and in her personality, and how she behaved, that whoever looked upon the elder daughter thought that she was just like her mother. They were both so disagreeable and unpleasant, and so proud and snobbish, and had such awful tempers that they were a terrible bother to live with. The younger daughter, who was the very picture of her father, resembling him in politeness and pleasantness and sweetness of temper, was one of the most beautiful girls anyone had ever seen. As people naturally love themselves, and people who look and behave like themselves, this mother spoiled and doted on her elder daughter, and at the time had a horrible aversion for the younger, didn't like her at all, made her eat on a chair by herself in the kitchen instead of at the dining table, and made her work hard continually. Among other things, this poor child was forced twice a day to walk more than 1.5 miles from the house to a well where she would let down a bucket and draw up water to fill a heavy pitcher to bring back home. One day, as she was drawing water at this well, there came to her a poor woman who begged the girl to let her have just a sip. "I'm more than happy to share with you, my good woman," said this pretty little girl. Rinsing immediately the pitcher, she took up some water from the clearest part of the well and gave it to her, holding up the pitcher all the while, that the woman might drink more easily. The good woman, having drunk, said to her, "You are so very pretty, my dear, so good and so polite, that I feel I must give you a gift." For this was a fairy, who had taken the shape of a poor farm woman to see how far the civility and good manners of this pretty girl would go. "This is my gift for you," continued the fairy. "At every word you speak, there shall come out of your mouth either a jewel or flower." When this pretty girl came home, her mother scolded her for staying so long at the well. "I beg your pardon, mamma," said the poor girl. "I'm sorry for taking so long and not making more haste." And when she spoke those words, there came out of her mouth 2 red roses, 2 white pearls, and 2 sparkling diamonds. "What is it I see there?" said the mother, quite astonished and surprised. "I think I see pearls and diamonds coming out of the girl's mouth. How can this happen, my child?" This was the first time she had ever called her daughter "my child." The sweet girl told her frankly and truthfully all that had happened, and all the while she spoke, out dropped red rubies and golden orchid flowers and ever more sparkling diamonds. "Goodness gracious!" the mother cried out. "I must send my elder child thither to the well. Come hither, Fanny. Look what comes out of your sister's mouth when she speaks. Wouldn't you be glad, my dear, to have the same gift given to you? The only thing you have to do is go draw water out of the well, and when a certain poor woman asks you to let her drink, just give it to her very politely." "Snowmen will fall from the sky in summer," said the ill-mannered brat, "before I walk all the way to that well." "You shall go, hussy," said the mother. "You'll go at this very minute." So away the spoiled elder daughter went, but grumbling all the way, taking with her the best silver pitcher at the house. She was no sooner at the well than she saw coming out of the wood a lady most gloriously dressed, who came up to her and asked to drink. This was, you must know, the very same fairy who appeared to her sister, but now had taken the behavior and dress of a princess, to see how far this naughty girl's rudeness would go. "Do you think I've come all this way," said the snotty, impolite sister, "just to serve you with water? I suppose you think I brought this silver pitcher purely for your ladyship. Is that so?" "I'm sorry to see that you're so disagreeable and have such poor manners," answered the fairy calmly. "Well then, since you behave with such little courtesy and are so disobliging, I give you for a gift that with every word you speak, there shall come out of your mouth a wriggling snake or a slimy toad." The girl hurried away in fright, and as her mother saw her coming, she cried out, "Well, daughter?" "Well, what, mother?" answered the snotty hussy, throwing out of her mouth a hissing serpent and 2 warty toads. "Oh, merciful heavens!" cried the mother. "What is it I see? Oh, it must have been that wretch your sister who had caused all this, but I'll make her pay for it." And the mother immediately ran to beat the young girl. The poor child fled away from her and went to hide herself in the forest not far from there. The king's son, who was just then returning from a hunting trip, met her, and seeing that she was so very pretty, asked her what she did there alone and why she cried. "Alas, sir, my mamma has chased me away and locked me out of the house." The prince saw 3 red, blue, and yellow tulip flowers, 4 green emeralds, and more diamonds than he could count falling out of her mouth, and he immediately begged her to inform him what had happened. At that, she told him the whole story, and so the king's son fell in love with her, and, considering that such a gift was worth more than any wedding presents could ever give, he conducted her to the palace of the king his father, and there married her. As for the spoiled elder sister, she made herself so much hated that even her own mother couldn't stand to be around her. And the miserable wretch, having wandered about a good while without finding anybody to take her in, went away walking through the woods, and no one ever saw or heard from her again.